What's up, everybody? It's Danny Green here, back with episode 1 of season 3, more inside the green room. We'll discuss the trade, my move to Philly, what shows I've been watching during quarantine, so on and so forth. We have such a quick turnaround, so much to get into, so let's get into it.
And shout out to everybody who's tuning in and listening for season 3 of Inside the Green Room. As you heard, that's Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. As Danny mentioned before the show started, we're going to talk about the trade, his move to Philly. We're going to talk about his expectations for the Sixers. We might reflect a little bit on the Lakers and maybe give some predictions on what they're going to do as well. And then we'll help the Philly fan base know more about Danny as well. And I guess, Danny, before we even get into the trade and your move, I guess we should let people know more about the show because I assume we're going to have some new listeners, a new audience that comes into the mix. I've known Danny for over 15 years now?
Yeah, about that, man. Since we're about 15 years old, we're both in our 30s now. 33. So yeah.
Don't date me. Don't date me.
About 18 years now, man. Almost 20 years, man. So we go back for a little while now. But yeah, first and foremost, big shout out to Night Train, DJ Night Train, the best DJ in the world. Guy's been amazing. He had a birthday. Too bad we couldn't celebrate it in Dallas. The function got canceled. We had an event. The battle official, it would have been fun. But yeah, man, this podcast we've been doing for 2.5 years almost now. And so far we're undefeated. So before we get to the playoffs, I don't want to hear no shit about, you shouldn't be doing podcasts. We're undefeated. You know what I'm saying? We're 2-0. We're running for 2 years and we've won 2 years in a row. So it's been going well. We've had a lot of fun. We've traveled the world. We did all of Toronto. We did a lot of California. We had interviewed a lot of my teammates in Toronto and California. So this year will be fun as well. Hopefully some of our Philly guys will jump on and we'll get to interview them as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then so for people to know a little bit more about myself, before Danny and I teamed up, I was a sports anchor out in Ohio. So I was there for LeBron's last 4 years rather, yet when he went to the finals.
Yeah, H is undefeated. H has been in the finals every year. So it's supposedly our good luck charm. Hopefully he keeps us the right way, Philly. So y'all could be hard on him if we lose.
Yeah, for sure. So any market I've been a personality in, at least in that first year, a team has either made the finals or won a championship. So hoping to keep that streak going. I think one of the best things about the show that we have here, Danny, because I've known you for so long, I think there's a level of transparency that you share with me that I think you're transparent with all media, but I think because of our relationship, we've been friends, we've been pretty transparent with each other about things that have happened, and you try to peel back the door. So I think that's one of the benefits of listening to this show. So while we're at it, we might as well do it.
For sure.
So first and foremost, take me into the meeting you had with Rob Pelinka, end of season meeting, not before the trade happened, but the end of season meeting.
It was a meeting that I think we were all looking forward to because a lot of guys knew there was going to be some moving pieces. Unfortunately, when you win one, it's very hard to bring everyone back. And speaking to Dwight, I think he was a little upset about it that you couldn't, bring everyone back. But everybody's trying to see where they stand, especially guys that are on roster. Those are the free agents as well. So the meeting basically from them, I thought would have been more, but it was what it needed to be. It didn't need to be any more than that. It was a congratulatory, thank you for your services or during that time where your mental and your efforts of coming into the bubble, being a professional about it, helping us win a championship were a big piece and big part of us winning a championship. It wasn't a goodbye, but it was, just checking in. How is your quarantine going? How is the pandemic, how life outside the bubble is treating you? What are some of the first things you did? And is there anything from us that you need moving forward? Obviously, we weren't talking trades yet, but they're just seeing how life was mentally, emotionally, and how, they could help. And just thanking me anyway. That's how my meeting went. Thanking me for, the part that I played in helping us win a championship. So I said thank you as well. I appreciate them being there by my side, mentally, emotionally supporting me throughout the bubble. And we had a lot of fun. It was a heck of a year. And told them, tell their families hello and wish them the best. Hopefully they're doing mentally, emotionally well outside the bubble also. And just said if they need me for anything, they can give me a call. So it was a very brief, about 10 minutes, just sharing experiences of being back to normal life outside of the bubble type of meeting.
Yeah, and so I know you asked RP, Rob Pelinka, to give you somewhat of a heads up if some trade was going to happen. Now, if we peel back the curtain a little bit, when you had free agency last summer, when you signed that deal, like you kind of, obviously they were waiting for Kawhi, and you were, you were possible to sign there, and it ended up happening that way. But the deal that you signed, because of the way the Lakers are structured, with LeBron being older and AD being younger, and there being that salary cap space available for you, it put you in a situation where you were constantly going to be in rumors because it's LA. They could get the third star. You're the third most highest paid player on the team. Throughout the duration of the season, and especially during this offseason before the trade happened, were those thoughts in your mind like, I'm a movable commodity because of the structure of my deal?
For sure. I thought that before I even signed, because the pressure was on them to kind of match what other teams were offering. I don't think they wanted to go as high as they did with the number that they gave. Because of how high the number was for me, I knew it was always going to be a situation where I was going to be involved or talks with trade. I never asked Rob to say, give me a heads up if there's a trade. I just assumed he would give me a trade, just because the relationship we have.
You just knew that you just knew the math.
For sure. And I just said, obviously I've spoken about it in meetings and things or in our interviews, like, yeah, I know RP would reach out to me, but it's not his job to do that. Obviously I'd appreciate it. And most guys would. And so the relationship we have, I figured he would. So he did, but he didn't have to. But so when it came, before I even signed, when we agreed and discussed my contract of coming to LA, because, it was not where it landed. It was lower than that. And because where it landed, it was more than they wanted to pay. It put a lot of pressure on them cap wise of trying to get other pieces and trying to keep those pieces, especially after winning and guys playing so well. I said it's hard to bring a team back when guys are more valuable now and they can get money elsewhere. They're champions now, so to keep them, you got to overpay them more than what they were getting during that year usually, unless they're older, they want to take a cut, or just love being in the city, want to be around the team, want to be with the vibe, and think we can run it back again. But most guys on our team were vets and been around for a while. Now they got their championship. They're like, all right, they want to do what's best for them, their families, either be closer to home or closer in a scenario or a situation where they finally get their payday. So you can't knock them for that. But yeah, I knew from before I even signed my deal, the structure of it, that I was always going to be in trade talks.
Now, I always thought that the deal would end up bringing back, if you were traded, they would end up getting a third star. But it seems that the way that RP in the front office has operated, they're kind of still going with the 10-man strong type of roster, and especially with Rondo going to Atlanta, bringing in Dennis Schroeder, it seemed like a logical thing. So obviously, there's no ill will between you and the organization. The interesting thing is that now, I think at first there was like an education that you have to have for the casual fan. For example, so I went back home, hung out with my mom right before Thanksgiving, and my mom goes, "So Danny got traded. Is it because he missed that shot?" I'm like, "Oh, Mom, not you too."
I mean, to the average fan, they don't really know any better. That they think because of certain things, which may possibly be in certain instances. Certain games, certain performance level. Obviously, it wasn't up to my expectations or the fans' expectations of what they wanted me to do in the past year. But I think they're gonna go with fits for around their 2 stars. And obviously they might not get a third star, but they might get 3 pieces or 2 pieces that might equal a third star. When you got a guy like Schroeder and Trez averaging over 15 plus throughout the regular season, that equals a third star. That's 30 points right there between those two, possibly. Then you add Marc Gasol and a couple other great pieces. They picked up Wes Matthews, another 3-and-D guy. They did some great moves, man, and the whole team, the whole league is making moves to get better. That's what they knew. They couldn't just be complacent. They had to make moves to be better fit, not just to beat other, but fit for them. Fit around Bron and AD. So they want to try to give Bron a rest with another ball handler, another playmaker. We were looking for that in Dion. So they found Schroeder instead. They still want another 3-and-D guy. They get KCP back, which he deserves every dollar plus more. And Wesley Matthews, those 2 guys in the wings. Trying to replace what Avery brought to the table, and West and KCP is going to be those factors. They still have AC there, but they made some good moves, man. They were trying to get better, just like everybody else in the league, because they couldn't just be satisfied with where they're at. They're expected not to just win one championship. When you have those 2 guys, you have high expectations to win, multiple championships for as long as they're there.
You and I talked about this right before you went to the bubble, and obviously considering where you are now, we said this, and thankfully the job is done. You come to the Lakers, you got a chance to win a chip, you win the chip. Everything else is obviously the check is always going to cash, but win the chip and the job is done. I'm sure that's how you feel. Like, yeah, I'm sure you wanted 2 years, but you got what you came here for.
Definitely, definitely. And you can't ask for more than that. Obviously, some people, I mean, said you might not like the way it happened, but it happened. We got the job done. We finished the job. Just like when people complain about, you drive kind of crazy, but I got you there safely. So you didn't die. Things might have been a little roller coaster. You got there safely, and you got a chance to celebrate. You got to achieve something that you haven't achieved in so long time. So be happy with it. So we got the job done. Obviously, it wasn't as pretty as we'd like it to, and as pretty as you would like it to, but we achieved something great, and it's something that we'll forever be bonded for, together as brothers, and remembered for as an organization, especially during the year that we had during the pandemic in the bubble, and losing so many greats that we lost this year.
The one thing that's still gonna be I'm gonna be salty about. I'm sure you're gonna be salty about, and maybe for a long period of time, and it's fair to be salty about it. There just wasn't the celebration period that anybody would have wanted or expected after winning something, especially when you consider the fact that the Dodgers won as well. So it's straight out of the 2020 playbook.
For sure.
That is the one. You're in a great situation now. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. But that is still the one thing I think is going to sting with, and probably stings with everybody.
I liked our celebration, man. I enjoyed it. Even though it's such a quick turnaround. And maybe because I'm very spoiled, so I've been lucky, man. Went back to back, so I'm just salty that I wasn't able to really get a vacation. This quick turnaround, I wasn't able to get any solid vacation. But the fact that it was a pandemic, everybody's quarantined, it wasn't too crowded. We weren't out. Like, the parade was a lot of fun in Toronto, but being out there 6 hours in front of thousands of fans is draining. To be able to party for a whole summer.
Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy.
Bro. So I liked, and I think the good parts about being a pandemic, you don't have to be around so many big crowds. You can celebrate with just your people. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
But the fans do deserve that. I would definitely love to celebrate with the fans. But yes. I like that it was small celebrations where we wanted it as a group with our team, our people, our friends and family, and it was safer. We don't have to shake as many hands, wear some masks. Like, you can be, doing your own thing without being bothered as much. But yeah, I enjoy. I look at the positive things. I enjoy the positives of the pandemic, where you said I don't have to, shake and give hugs to everybody in the world and party with everybody in the world. I can just celebrate with my, closest people around, and have as much fun with them safely.
Yeah, for sure. That does sound like you've gotten accustomed to winning, or at least getting very close to it.
I've been spoiled, bro.
I'll keep shooting, but when the game on the line, you get me to set the good screen for Danny.
Good screen.
Good screen.
A good screen.
You damn right it's a good screen.
He gonna have that dead shot right there. Yeah. I'm rolling with that.
Should have got a half assist for that screen, Dwight.
For sure, full assist.
I mean, come on, he didn't pass the
shit. He might as well have. Excuse my language. Are we allowed to curse on this?
You could.
Okay.
It's your show in the green room.
You have another chance to win this year, playing alongside Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid talked about some of the disrespect that he got over this past season. For some reason, there are reasons, valid, but maybe it still doesn't make sense that Joel didn't make any of the All-NBA teams. Not first, not second, not third. Here's a quote from him about that.
When you consider, top 10, top 5, I don't know, NBA player or whatever, when you're up there and not making All-NBA team, that just shows you a lot. And it ain't even had to do with, the way I really played last year, because, truthfully, I think I averaged 23 and 12 or something like that. I actually thought that was enough, but it is what it is. Can't get mad at it. But then again, just thinking about it, was disappointed, extremely disappointed, because I didn't get the respect that I deserve. But by doing that, you got to be able to win. So that's where it starts. You got to win.
Danny, when you had that call with Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey after they maneuvered you from Oklahoma City to Philadelphia, what did they say the expectations were for you personally and for the team?
I would love to give y'all behind the scenes insight on how the trade went down and the talks were, but it was truly, to me, an unexpected but exciting move. It wasn't. I was supposed to talk to Sam and OKC, but we never had a conversation. But the trade happened, and I got a chance to talk to Philly before it happened either. It just happened out of nowhere. But I did like the spot. I did like the pieces that we had, and they called me right away. They're excited. We're bringing you in to bring your experience, your veteran experience shooting from the perimeter. Do what you do, and also your project is to work on these young guys and get them ready, like a Joel, like a Ben, Tobias, get them to buy in. That was Doc's thing, and Daryl and Elton were amazing with us, and they still are. When I get a chance to talk to them on the phone, was just excited about me being a part of this organization and trying to bring it to the next level. I know I can't do it by myself, but we have Dwight here, we have other vets here, and our job is to mentally start with a little seed and get them mentally ready, habits each day, so that by the time the end of the season begins and time playoffs start, that they already have these habits. They already know. We don't have to do it on our own. They're already experiencing that aspect of what it takes to win. So yeah, the talks, man, were great, but it was truly unexpected. I didn't expect it to happen that quickly, or to that, I guess, to this city, because I didn't have any talks with them. I didn't have any talks with Sam about it. We did have some teams in mind that we were talking to Sam about, but we never got a chance to discuss it, and it happened so fast. But I'm glad that I'm here. We have a lot of guys like Joel that are trying to reprove themselves. And you're in this league, in this world, you're as good as your last game, and it's what have you done for me lately type of league. Everybody knows that. So when you're not putting up the numbers that you once was, or doing what you once did, it's like, oh, he's lost it, or he's not. So, we have so many guys coming in from trades from other teams that are trying to prove themselves, and guys that have come back from losses last year in Philly, where they lost in the first round and didn't play well. They're getting on Tobias about what he's doing. They're getting on Joel. They're getting on Ben about, trying to stay healthy. They're saying they need to break this team up, when realistically they don't. They have the pieces to get it done. You just have to stay healthy and just, get that mentality and the small details of how to win. To me, the East is always pretty open. Miami made it through. Milwaukee's always great. Boston, Toronto, of course, and said Philly. It's always open. Any team, I feel like, there's no two-headed snake, or two or three teams that are way above the rest of the teams in the Eastern Conference. So we have a shot, man. And I said, I think it starts with the mental, and my job of working on the projects that we have in our group, and getting them ready for the end of the season.
Yeah, I've always thought that the Eastern Conference was pretty much top six. It really came down to the matchups and who would prevail and who would get to the NBA Finals. Certain teams match up better with other teams. When it comes to expectations for you personally, we could talk about what you expect to do this season, but I think your role here is very much similar to what it was in Los Angeles. You got a big man who attracts double teams. You got a great ball handling, forward size, all around guard and Ben Simmons. And your job is to provide spacing and allow them to operate. I must say, like, as we talked about this, we after the trades from the Lakers, we were concerned, or we wanted to make sure you were in a position to succeed. And I gotta say, you're in a very great spot, playing with two All-Stars, and you're gonna play a pivotal role. Maybe I would even say your role here in Philadelphia is more pivotal than it was in LA.
For sure.
Because the way Frank Vogel operated, there was about 10 to 11 guys that he trusted with minutes. And Doc Rivers might get to that point. But right now, I would assume that you're going to be relied on a lot more to provide that, not just provide the spacing, but execute when you do get the spacing, or you do get those opportunities.
For sure. I compare this situation, and listen, my role is not going to change much at this point in my career. Of course, my friends and family, they're like, oh, you should do more of this, do that. I'm not brought in to do that. My job is to lead, make winning plays defensively, offensively, space the floor, knock down shots. But I compare this situation, we said it's more pivotal than LA, because LA, we had so many veterans. They didn't need my coaching or my intellect or my IQ. Guys with IQ same or higher than mine and more experience than mine. I wasn't there to be a voice and teach them, what it takes to win. They all been there and won. This situation is very similar to Toronto, where I'm coming with a group of younger guys that's still learning how to win, and and be more of a locker room voice. They didn't need that in LA. They're gonna need that. They needed that in Toronto. Me and Kawhi going there and with the younger guys, and kind of similar here. They're a little older than what Toronto was when we got there, but I'm here to be that voice and try to teach them the small things, small details of what it takes to win. And that's more pivotal than LA, because they didn't need that there. They're definitely going to need it here. And I'm excited to get out there on the floor. I obviously haven't been cleared yet. Get physicals soon, and then get on the floor with them and see with energy. But Dwight is out there. We have a couple other, let's say vets. They're not really that old. Tobias is one of the vets now, and he's younger than me. But we have some guys here that understand, know the game, know their roles, and have a chip in their shoulder because they're all ready to prove themselves, again this year to the people that have been doubting them last year.
So for the majority of your career, you've competed for conference finals, you competed for NBA finals, dating back to college, you won a national championship, always in the NCAA tournament. High school basketball team was at one point rated #1 team in the state. So, I mean, the country rather yet, in the state for a while.
Been lucky, man.
So, all we try to do here is win, right?
Sure.
That's the only thing that's important. Everything else that matters comes after winning. So what is the expectation for the team for this year? What would you consider a success?
For me, I said I have obviously individual goals, but those aren't at the forefront. And I said this earlier with an interview with someone else, and probably read in an article. I have team expectations, and I expect. Well, I hope if we stay healthy and stay together, I know we can do some great things. So my goals or expectations is to have 2 to 3 All-Stars this year. Two guys, if not 3, on a defensive team, whether it's first and second, at least 2 guys on a defensive team. Guys having the best career years and winning games. We're only playing 72, so it'd be nice to win 50, 50 plus games. And, we got to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. There's no way or shape or form excuses to lose in the first round or second round with the talent we have. It should be a head-to-head matchup with a monster team in Eastern Conference Finals, whether it's Milwaukee, Miami, Boston, or Toronto, and there's other teams that I might be forgetting in the East. But our expectation is to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. We want to be to the finals. That's the goal. Be in the finals, and once you get there, anything can happen. Injuries always happen. Obviously, there's some monster teams in the West, but we have the team. We feel we have the talent enough to actually get this thing done. And it's always championship or bust for whatever teams that have been on. Unfortunately, the goal and the expectations have been, the bar has been high. But that's what I love. That's what I came in for. That's what I like. I like to be on winning teams and have that bar set high. So, we're just trying to continue not to be satisfied with the small things. The little things, and that what we're preparing for is bigger. And the bar is set high. We want to win. We want to be the last team standing.
Last time that you were in Wells Fargo Arena was the same time, or Wells Fargo Center. I'm gonna have to look that name up. I've got to get familiar. The last time we were in Philadelphia for a game, I was there too. Unfortunately, it was when the Lakers were playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and obviously we all know what happened after that game with Kobe's passing. And obviously the scouting report is different now because Al Horford's not there and Josh Richardson's not there. But you guys, when you were with the Lakers, you guys pretty much got dominated. Ben Simmons played very well.
They were great at home, man. Last year. Philly was great at home last year. They're amazing.
What was the scouting report that Frank Vogel and the team had for the Sixers, and how do you think that scouting report might have changed a bit? Obviously, the functionality of the team changes with you and Seth there, but give me some more details about the scouting report that Frank Vogel posed to you guys.
I think that's obvious for most teams, any team. They still had pretty much the same team last year. Now we have some more shooters. Me, Seth, Matisse is growing as a shooter. Farkan, Mike Scott. We have some guys that can stretch the floor. For the most part, was make them beat you over the top with Ben and Joel. Make them shoot jumpers, make them beat you from the 3-point line or perimeter, and also don't let them in the paint. Which is I think is another challenge for us. I'm challenging not just Joel but Ben to not worry about percentages, especially early in the clock, early in the game. You can't be afraid to take those jumpers. Keep the defense honest. Mind you, you shoot it pretty well. When we see you in practice, we see you shooting online, we see you highlights and clips. You're not a bad shooter. It's all confidence and mental. So, I'm going to try to take upon myself to challenge him to, put himself in some uncomfortable situations or positions to make himself more comfortable doing those things. And that may be taking, at least one corner 3 a game, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep the defense honest. So yeah, now it's a little tougher beating or making this team beat you over the top when we have guys that can shoot it like Seth, Tobias, Matisse, Farkan. So, I think the scouting report will be different. We haven't played Philly in a long time, being in LA, but I would assume the scouting report would change a little bit, assuming the pieces that we got this year.
Now, let's speaking about Ben Simmons, let's keep it all the way 100. And now I knew this from when I was covering LeBron and the Cavs when I was in Ohio. There's a certain level of scrutiny that comes with players who play alongside LeBron James. One, because he plays so damn well at such a high level. He's on this chase to catch Michael Jordan in some people's eyes. He might be there. He's still chasing him, however you might see it. But the nature of LeBron's game also as well, it benefits other players. It puts other players in the spotlight because of the way that he passes the ball. And because of that, and you playing with the Lakers last year, there was a lot of attention you got. A lot of people then started to make commentary and memes for clout purposes because, you know, when something gains momentum, you're just doing it because you want your post, your meme, your tweet to be boosted up the algorithm. Because for what, as we talked about many a times, you were always trending on Twitter for a while there in the bubble.
I'm gonna miss
that. But at a certain point, it was out of control. Like they were putting a little bit too much dirt in your name for somebody who's been successful as you've been.
I mean, it's expected. Real. It's expected, bro. So, you know, I said I'm gonna miss those days of being trending on, you know, Twitter and shit like that. But I'm not gonna miss the criticism. It's funny. You know, I care less about that. But yes, and when people take it, they take it to extreme. I'm sure Joel's got it, Ben has got it, and Tobias got it. They put in guys' names through the dirt and extremely, you know, the disrespectful says, what have you done for me lately type of league. You're as good as your last game, you know, those type of things. So if you had a bad shooting season or a bad shooting night, then it's like, you know what, this guy can't shoot anymore, which is fine. That's cool. I'd rather y'all believe that. And then, you know what I'm saying, I'll do the unexpected. Hopefully teams will start to believe the dumb shit y'all putting out there so they leave me open more. But I highly doubt they'll do that. But yeah, you know, that's part of, you know, the world now. That's what social media is. That's what the world we live in is. And it only helps motivate us to be better. So and I'm challenging not just myself and everybody else around me, but guys like Ben, you know, to ignore that. We don't care about none of that. But and everybody in the basketball world in our league knows who can shoot. But, you know, to put yourself or push the boundaries a little bit more, you know, shoot those threes a little bit more. It'll make us better as a group, as a team, if, you know, they're playing you out on that perimeter, that line, because he's a beast at getting to the rim, using his body, getting to the free throw line, and making plays for us as a group. So I'm interested to see, you know, when he gets comfortable, how far he can take his game to that next level.
Yeah, I think obviously you and Seth add a level of functionality to the offense that probably they just didn't have last year, but I'm also intrigued to see how you guys are defensively. Obviously, you're going to help their defense. I think Matisse has been a solid defender in his rookie year and has potential to be very good defensively. You have Ben Simmons, you have Joel Embiid. So you guys have a chance to be maybe a top 5, top 10 defense in the league. And then as you did last year with the Lakers, if you have great defense, then you can have great transition offense. Ben Simmons is one of the best transition offensive players in the league.
And that was one of the scouting reports that was trying to slow them down. But that's our scouting report for us, is we want to speed up and play fast. And that's one of the goals that Doc has for us. He wants us to play fast, but also want to be the best defensive teams in the league. Excuse me, I said Pop. But Doc wants us to be one of the best, you know, top 5 defensive teams in the league, and setting our expectations. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying we should only we want to win. But we can't fall short of anything less than being in the Eastern Conference Finals. But the goal is to win and be the last team standing, and we have those expectations for ourselves, and we believe we can do it. But if we fall short of any of those things that I listed, it's going to be a bust or a bad season. It's probably going to break it up, trades. It always happens. But either way, you know, we gotta go out there, try to have fun, get back to, you know, the purity of basketball as we can, and play selfless. And that's when the games become easier and become fun, and you start winning without having to focus and put so much extra pressure on yourself. And I like the fact that we're flying under the radar, you know, which is better. So hopefully it helps us. Hopefully we get everybody.
No Christmas game.
It kind of sucks, but I mean, you know, we were under the radar, which is fine. I prefer that. But yeah, we can hopefully win games, keep winning games. We have a better road record this year than they had last year, and you know, get this team ready for when the playoffs come, and being a championship team and staying healthy. Hopefully, that's the biggest key for us.
You mentioned, we just kind of touched on Christmas games. Obviously, Brooklyn has entered the Eastern Conference title contender mix. I want to talk about them and the rest of the Eastern Conference.
How did I ever forget about Brooklyn?
And I just want to talk about a myriad of subjects. We got one more segment before we get out of here. We'll be right back with Inside the Green Room. One of the more entertaining things that happened during the series versus the Rockets, there was a little altercation during Game 5 Danny or Keith, I'll let you decide who goes first, but please take us fans inside the bubble and kind of relive that moment during game 5, excuse me.
Well, Keith knows Russ better than I do, but I know he's a very passionate guy off the court. From what I hear and what I've seen, he's not as intense. But when the game is getting that hectic, Rondo's getting guys. That's what he do. He getting guys' heads and mess with them a little bit.
Keith,
man, I know Russ real well. I played with OKC a little bit last year. He's one of my guys, and I can honestly say he's a super competitive guy, and he don't like losing. And we was beating their ass, so he had to find somebody saying something to put my energy into that. It's just how he is, man. When you losing, and he's that type of guy, man. So now you can hear everything. You hear the kids over there playing. You want to say something to the kids, stop playing. They beating our ass. You know what I'm saying?
We're back with more Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. This is our first episode of season 3. We got about, we're going to push out 3 more episodes for the close of the year. So stay tuned. We're going to be dropping them pretty often to close 2020. And then we'll go back to maybe a 2 or 3 episode per month type of regimen starting in 2021. Hopefully things will open up or get closer to opening up by then. Who knows? But I have a couple quick questions here that I want to ask you, Danny. And so that some of the newer audience can get to know about you a little bit. And then we'll ask you some basketball questions as well. So first question, and we want to do this quick now. What TV show are you watching right now?
I just finished Undoing. I'm watching The Messengers.
Do you recommend The Undoing?
I do recommend Undoing. I thought it was good. I wasn't a big fan of the ending. The Messengers is okay. There's a couple other shows I could recommend, but Undoing was good.
This season of Inside the Green Room, will you stop referring to me as Dirty Harry because people don't understand? Or they take the wrong understanding?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You will always and forever be Dirty Harry.
Please do not take this as a reference to my cleanliness. This is just a nickname.
No, he's not a dirty guy. He's not a dirty guy. Mind you, people gotta do the research. They gotta know who Dirty Harry was. Clint Eastwood back in the day was a bad dude. There's many different definitions for this Dirty Harry thing, and people that will meet you will understand why we call you Dirty Harry when they get to know you.
First reaction when you saw photos of James Harden at Little Baby's birthday party in Atlanta, and apparently in Las Vegas on Sunday night when teams are supposed to be getting ready for the quarantining and getting ready for the season.
My first reaction was I was a little jealous. Not the fact that he was out partying and clubbing, because I don't care for that. But Lil Baby, some of the gifts that he got, I think everybody in the world was jealous of the friendship that he was getting from his friends, all the stuff that he got. I haven't gotten those gifts ever in life. I mean, which is okay. Everybody doesn't have a bunch of wealthy friends around them. But we all celebrate and have fun. But I thought it was interesting. I think a lot of people got a kick out of it, a laugh out of it, that he was in the club, especially the next day. But I think most people were jealous of the fact that they weren't able to be out and doing what he's doing, and celebrating the way that they're celebrating, which is a totally different level of celebration. A lot of honey buns. I wanted some honey buns too. It made me want honey buns.
With that being said, outside of honey buns, if I had to gift you a food like James Harden did to Little Baby, gift you a food, what would that food be?
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about the honey, pause. I'm thinking
outside
about
of honey buns.
Just the ice honey buns though. But outside of honey, if you were to gift me a food, like a dessert or like a snack, I mean, it's always safe to go with cookies, man. But I'm trying to cut back on the sweets this year a little bit. But it's always safe to get some chocolate chip cookies, man. Some soft ones.
Where are Nuke and Gizmo?
Nuke and Gizmo are with me right now, actually. We are in Philadelphia looking for a place to live. Currently, hopefully finding a yard for them to run around some, but they're here, man. They're with me.
Nuke and Gizmo are Danny's dogs, for those who are now listening or watching the show and did not know. How difficult or how do you manage the housing situation in Los Angeles? Because you were staying in a certain area, you got traded, and you still gotta find a place to live in Philadelphia. How do you manage the LA house living situation?
Not too difficult. So when a trade happens, usually the teams take care of the trade. I guess the hardest part is just finding a place to live, and figuring out whether or not you want to keep your place in Los Angeles or you want to keep your home wherever it is, your foundation. Right now I don't have one. I sold my house in San Antonio. I didn't buy in LA. So if I just wanted to move my stuff from LA to Philly, it'd be an easy move for the team to do so. But it can get difficult when you said you're looking to buy somewhere or you're looking to call a place home. But for the most part, with a trade, it's a lot easier making the move than it is when you're in free agency or being signed to a team.
Have you run the Rocky steps yet?
No, I have not run the Rocky steps. The temperature's actually dropping as of late. I've done enough walking my dogs, which is cold enough. It's cold enough walking them, for 20, 30 minutes a day. But I'm sure at some point I will get there, and hopefully, probably when it's warmer. But it's been in the 30s as of late, and I'm not running no damn Rocky stairs in 30-degree weather.
Before we let you go, it's the last one here. You have a chance to have dinner. You can get your honey buns, you can get your chocolate chip cookies, whatever you want. You could only get one guest for this dinner.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, Dr. J,
Okay.
Allen Iverson. You can only get one guest. Who is it?
I think I'm gonna go with Kevin Hart, man. I mean, even though I love and respect AI and Dr. J, met those guys before. I met Kevin Hart too. Never got a chance to sit down with any one of them. Actually, Dr. J, we chopped it up a little bit more than others. But if I'm at a meal, man, I need to laugh. So if I'm gonna sit down with somebody, I'm probably gonna laugh. So that's why I said I like to have joyful moments. Why I bring my dogs with me everywhere. That's why they're with me everywhere. My fiance's with me as well. But this short off season, my dogs have been with me everywhere I've gone. My friends, those people that said that great energy around me. And not saying that Dr. J and AI don't have that great energy, but everybody knows Kevin Hart. His energy is on another level, and he's gonna make you laugh until you cough the food up. So I think that sit down dinner would be more entertaining to me than the other two.
All right, cool. I think that's pretty much it. Before we get out of here, I do want to say some shout outs here to a bunch of people that
no disrespect to AI and Dr. J, I would love to sit down with them, but that would be more of an interview sit down. I'll be asking them all types of questions and about the game and how it was back in the day, which I'd rather not do, and just have just a chill dinner with the guys, talking some shit, shooting the breeze. But let's give our shout outs, man. DJ Night Train, of course. Big shout out to DJ Night Train, all the people in LA Spectrum. Jack in the Box, all the people that took care of us. Anybody, Dove?
Spectrum. Big shout out to all the local LA media. Harrison Fagan, Kyle Goon. Shout out to Harrison Fagan. I know a lot of times we'd be on Zoom and the media relations department from LA would say, "Harrison, you have a question?" And you'd be like, "Dirty Harry, where you at?" Because there's a different Harrison. I don't think there's any other Harrison covering the Sixers. I think that works out well now. So shout out Harrison Fagan, shout out Kyle Goon, all the LA local media, Spectrum for putting together the show for us, helping us put it together.
You guys are amazing.
Shout out to the Lakers PR department, Allison Bogley, Allison Howard,
amazing as well.
Jeff Gates, Mitchell Holder, a bunch of people from the Lakers, really supportive during our championship season in LA. And I'm hoping that we can replicate that in Philadelphia, because that's all we really like to do here.
Big shout out to Jeannie Buss, man, Lakers organization, for sending so much love with the trade and how they handle everything. Top priority organization, A1 organization. So big shout out to them for handling things the way they did. And Jeannie sending me the tequila bottle and said, looking forward to circling back with them. So we're still family. And said we'll receive my championship ring one of these days soon, hopefully the second half of the season.
Well, no, you don't even want a second half of the season unless they're fans. At this point, I saw your schedule too. At this point, I don't even know. You might as well just wait for 2021, 2022 to get your actual rings
to get my
in Toronto, in Toronto and LA.
I'm deciding on that, man. I'm just really contemplating just getting the ring in Tampa, calling it a day.
No.
They can
Don't do it.
In Toronto, and same thing with LA, man. Just doing it without the fans there. We'll see. I'll think on it. We'll circle back.
Face.
It's been a long year. We don't know when this is going to end, bro. This pandemic has been a year and a half. The bubbles has been annoying as hell. Just give me the jewelry and let me go in peace. But no, I would definitely love to celebrate in front of the city, but we never know when that's going to happen again. Canada, there's restrictions a little stiffer, tougher than ours is. So that's why they had to move the team. So we don't know when we're going to go back to Toronto to do that. And same with fans in LA. We don't know when it's going to happen. Now, California shut down again. So it's going to be tough to celebrate the way that we want to celebrate it in front of the fans in the arena. Receiving a ring and said in I guess the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But,
Hopefully that turns around. I am happy that you'll be able to play in at least arenas this year, or at least it seems that's the plan. I feel like it's going to be a lot better for a lot of guys. And for playing in that bubble for a lot of people, it's just not cool. Like, imagine just staying somewhere for that long. It just sucks. Point blank.
I'm happy to be outside the bubble, man. There's nobody happier in the world than I am. I'll tell you that right now.
I hear that. Before we go, and then also, I am going to forget names, so I'm just going to shout them all out as much as I remember. But shout out to each and every one of our former guests who got the bag or landed in a new opportunity to continue their childhood dreams of playing basketball. Fred Van Fleet, shout out to you. Marc Gasol, good luck in LA. Serge Ibaka, good luck in LA. I know
Rondo,
I guess we'll have
Atlanta,
to see Rondo in Atlanta. KCP got his bag while
Avery in Miami.
LeBron and AD reading up to stay in LA. Everybody who's been a part of embracing us or being a guest, thank you and congrats on getting your money and your opportunity.
Boogie, all those. There's so many guys, man. I'm happy for all those guys. So congratulations to that. Big shout out to you guys. I'm sure I'll cross your paths. We'll cross paths again soon. But we'll bring some more Inside the Green Room near you, coming soon in Philly.
And with that being said, we out.